If you have an aluminum bodied F-150 and it did not come with some cargo lights, the wiring harness and that, if you wanted to hook it up yourself, is in the $200 US range. And then you have to go to the dealer and then have them recognize it on the computer, because there is the switch here and it'll leave the lights on for 10 minutes and then automatically turn them off. So what I did here today is to bypass the dealership, and then I wired them up, and I put a switch in here, and then I put another switch on the tailgate, so when the tailgate is closed, if I forgot to turn that off, then that light will go out and keep the battery from being discharged. So what we have here today is putting some cargo box lights in a F-150. This should be from like 2015 through the current models. You might want to double check on that. And the switch and the light that Ford sells comes in a complete wire harness assembly, and after you install it, you have to go and have the dealer activate it in the computer, because once you turn the switch on, it allows the lights in the cargo box to stay on for 10 minutes and then it automatically turns off. They do have a switch that I purchased. It's just a momentary switch. It's kind of like a doorbell. You hit it once, and so this switch is not going to be useful for the application I'm going to do. I'm going to run a wire from the battery. Then I'm going to take and put it through a door jamb switch. So when the tailgate is closed, there will be no power to the switch here that will light up my cargo box. And I'll go through the parts that I'm purchased for this. Okay, I have some wire, some wire loom, a toggle switch, some shrink wrap, various connectors, and the part number for the light is right here. It's the Ford part number. I want to pause the video and write that down. Then I made a bracket to go ahead and hold this switch here, this door jamb switch, and I just simply welded a nut onto a piece of steel, and I'm going to attach that to my tonneau cover. Wasn't quite sure what the threads were on this one. I did purchase a 12 by 1.25. It does screw in a little bit. You have to drill it out because of this copper ring here is a little bit thick. It does start to thread in there, but it doesn't go in very great. And that switch number is this one right here. Next I have a grommet that I put where the wires are going through. I purchased a couple of fuses and a fuse holder for it. Got some zip ties, and that's pretty much it. I'll go through the procedure that I'm doing to get this to work. Okay, for the cover, I removed it. I just took a putty knife, pushed in on here, and then popped it out. And I determined the center here, And I have one of these small switches here, that little toggle switch that I'm going to put in there. It is 3/4 of an inch around, so I am going to take and drill a hole in the center there, and then I'm going to reverse the drill and let the hole saw just melt through it so it doesn't catch it and shatter it. Okay, before the thing will snap in there, there is a little tab here that we have to cut out. Keeps it from twisting there, and then it'll snap right on in. So I'm just going to take a small file and then make that little nick in there, and it'll pop right in. Then we'll be ready to attach our wires and then snap it back in. So I have this switch in my little homemade bracket here. There are 3 holes in the back for a wiring harness. A 14 gauge piece of house wire fits in there perfectly. And so what I did was just made a connection of my own here and shrink wrapped it, and plugs in there. Of the 3 holes, it does not matter which 2 that you use if you go ahead and use this system here. Okay, on the passenger side of the vehicle, there is a hole that's already pre-drilled. At the top of the box, I placed a grommet in there. And then I'm going to go up to the battery on the positive side and put the fuse in line with the wire, and then I'm going to protect it with the wire loom, and then zip tie it up, and then we'll go ahead and put my little bracket on that I made to put that door jamb switch on. Okay, I have my bracket attached there. When we close the tailgate, this will push in here and then deactivate the power that'll run over to the switch and the light. There are 2 panels for lights here, only I'm going to just put 1 in. Then if you decide to put 2 in, you just need to run a parallel circuit to the switch. On the back of the Ford light here, there would be normally a wiring harness that connects on there. I didn't have one, so I soldered some connectors on there, and then I'm going to put this shrink tubing on there and then shrink that down. And I went and I tested which direction that it lights up, and you can see where the tab locks in on here. That is the positive side, and then the one over here without the locking lug on it is the ground. Okay, I've just put a little dab of dielectric grease on the terminal there. Now I'm going to go ahead and connect this to the positive side. And then I have a ground here. I will connect that to the other side. these wires down through there and then connect my switch. Okay, I found a ground on the frame. I put a eyelet on our ground wire here, and just going to go ahead and put a little shrink tubing on there and shrink it down. Okay, I ran the power cord all the way up to the battery. I went over the top of the wheel well there. I brought it all the way up to the front, and I attached the fuse holder here, and I put an eyelet on the end, and I'll connect that to the positive post of the battery. We'll put a fuse in here, and we're all ready to try and test it. Okay, the tailgate is down, and that's working. So I'll go ahead and snap these in place here, and I'll go ahead and close up my cover, and then we'll see if it goes out.